I posted my son's beach treasure find on Facebook, and 3 hours later, armed men were at our door. The whole thing started when my 7-year-old Timmy came running up with sand all over his face, screaming about pirate gold. When I followed him to his hole near the rocks, there was an actual wooden chest about the size of a microwave, covered in barnacles and seaweed. Timmy was bouncing around while I pried it open with driftwood, and when the lid popped up, we both just stared. Wrapped in plastic bags were stacks and stacks of $100 bills, more money than I'd ever seen. Being the proud dad I am, I snapped a photo of Timmy grinning next to his treasure chest and posted it on Facebook. My little pirate found actual treasure at the beach today. Can you believe this? Within 20 minutes, it had over 100 likes and dozens of comments. 3 hours later, someone knocked on our apartment door so hard the whole frame shook. I looked through the peephole and saw 2 men in expensive suits standing in my hallway. When I opened the door with the chain still on, the bigger one, who had a scar running from his ear to his jaw, said in this calm voice that made my skin crawl, "You have something that belongs to the Torino family, and we're here to collect it." The smaller one pulled out his phone and showed me my own Facebook post, zoomed in on the chest. "This was buried by our associate 3 years ago when the cops were after us, and that money has blood on it," he said, then looked past me at Timmy playing video games. "Beautiful boy you got there. Would be a shame if something happened to him because his father made a stupid decision." The bigger one handed me a business card with just a phone number on it. "You have 24 hours to return every single bill, and we know exactly how much is there," he said, pushing his jacket aside just enough for me to see the gun in his waistband. "If even 20 bucks is missing, or if you call the cops, we'll know, and your son will grow up without a father." The problem was, I'd already called the police that morning and turned in the money, thinking I was doing the right thing, and maybe there'd be a finder's fee. Detective Brooks had seemed thrilled, saying this was evidence in a big case. When I called him back after the men left, frantically explaining about the threats, he went silent for so long I thought the call had dropped. "That money is evidence now, and I cannot give it back to you no matter what," he finally said. I begged him, told him about the threat against Timmy, even started crying, but he just kept saying his hands were tied. The patrol car he promised never came. I called back 6 times, getting different officers who all said the same thing about the money being evidence. I even drove to the station with Timmy, but they wouldn't let me past the front desk. The desk sergeant looked at me like I was crazy when I explained the mob was going to kill me over money I didn't have anymore. By 8 p.m., I was pacing around trying to figure out if we could run to my sister in Boston when my phone rang from a blocked number. 16 hours left, the voice said. "The Torinos don't give extensions." I tried to explain about the police, but he cut me off. "Your problem to solve, not ours." The next morning, with 4 hours left, I was sitting in Detective Brooks's office, literally on my knees begging, when another detective burst in. "Brooks, we got a problem with the Torino evidence," he said, not even noticing me on the floor. Brooks went pale and asked what kind of problem. "The money's gone from the evidence locker. Someone took it last night." Brooks jumped up and ran out, leaving me alone in his office, and that's when I saw it on his desk. A receipt for $50,000 deposited into his bank account yesterday, and underneath it, a text message printed out that said, "Payment confirmed for the information, T." The T had to be Torino. Brooks was working for them. I grabbed the papers and ran out of the station, but when I got to my car, the same 2 men from yesterday were leaning against it. "Time's up," the scarred one said, but before I could respond, black SUVs surrounded us, and FBI agents poured out with guns drawn. "Nobody move," an agent shouted, and the scarred man looked at me with pure hatred. "You set us up with the feds?" he said. "Your son is dead." But the FBI agent closest to me grabbed my arm and said something that made my blood freeze. "Mr. Walker, your ex-wife Lisa told us everything about your plan to steal mob money and frame the Torinos." I stared at him in complete shock. "What plan? I don't have an ex-wife named Lisa." The agent pulled out a file with photos that someone had clearly messed with on a computer, showing a woman's face pasted next to me at the beach, helping me dig up the chest. "These are fake!" I screamed. "Someone used a computer to put her face in these pictures." But the agent was already putting handcuffs on me while the Torino men smiled. Full story on the channel below.